Hey everyone, it's me again, Joseph, your host, and welcome back to our channel on the Catechism for Kids. Today, we're going to talk about a different kind of hero. Not a superhero with a cape, but a real-life hero who had something even more powerful, incredible courage and a giant heart full of love. His name is Saint Peter Paschal, or also known as Pedro Pascual, and his story is like something out of an adventure movie. Well, his name sounds familiar, right? But don't confuse him with another famous actor, Pedro Pascal. Imagine being born in a place where your family had to be very brave just to practice their faith. That was the world Peter Paschal was born into, way back in the year 1227 in Valencia, Spain. At that time, much of Spain was under Muslim rule, and Christians like Peter's family, called Mozarabs, lived a very different life. They had to be quiet and careful about their beliefs. Peter's family was friends with some very special people, the Mercedarian friars. Have you ever heard of them? Their job was one of the most dangerous and brave jobs you can imagine. Their full name was the Order of Our Lady of Mercy and the Redemption of the Captives. Their mission was to travel into dangerous lands to rescue Christians who had been captured and made slaves. They would pay ransoms to set them free. These friars would often stay at Peter's house, and you can just imagine young Peter sitting wide, listening to their incredible stories of rescue and faith. He saw their bravery up close, and it planted a seed in his heart. Peter was also super smart. His parents made sure he got a great education. In fact, one of his first teachers was a man his own parents had ransomed from slavery. How amazing is that? This teacher saw how bright Peter was and took him all the way to Paris, one of the most famous cities in the world for learning. Peter studied hard and even became a doctor of theology, which is like getting a PhD in understanding God and the Bible. But after all that studying, Peter knew where his heart truly belonged. He returned to Spain and joined the very same group of heroes he had admired as a boy, the Mercedarians. He took a special vow, a solemn promise, that all Mercedarians take. It's a fourth vow, beyond the usual promises of poverty, chastity, and obedience. They promised to give up their own freedom, even their own lives if necessary, to save a Christian who is in danger of losing their faith. Talk about courage. Peter's brilliant mind didn't go unnoticed. King of Aragon, King James I, asked Peter to be the tutor for his son, a prince named Sancho. Peter was such a good and holy teacher that he inspired Prince Sancho to become a priest and even an archbishop. Because Peter was so wise and holy, the Pope himself decided he was the right person for a very difficult job. In 1296, he made Peter the Bishop of Jaén. Now, this wasn't an easy assignment. Most of his diocese, the area he was supposed to lead, was actually controlled by the Muslim kingdom of Granada. It was a place full of danger for a Christian bishop. But was Peter scared? Not at all. He saw it as his mission field. He would fearlessly travel into these lands to visit Christians who were in prison. He would comfort them, bring them hope, and celebrate the sacraments with them. He wasn't just a bishop who sat in a nice church. He went to where the suffering was. He was also a powerful preacher. He wrote books and explained the Catholic faith so clearly and lovingly that many people, including some Muslims, were moved by his words and decided to follow Jesus. He wanted everyone to know the truth and beauty of Christianity, but his success came at a price. His powerful preaching and his success in helping people find faith made the rulers in Granada nervous and angry. One day, in 1297, while he was visiting his people, he was ambushed, captured, and thrown into a prison in Granada. You might think the story ends here, with our hero locked away, but this is where his courage shone the brightest. Even in a dark prison, Peter didn't stop being a bishop. He didn't stop being a teacher. He continued to comfort other prisoners and teach anyone who would listen, including his own guards. He wrote some of his most important books right there in his prison cell, explaining the faith so that the captive Christians wouldn't give up hope. His captors held him for 3 long years. They even offered him a deal. They told him, "Peter, we see you are a good man. We will set you free. All you have to do is promise you will stop talking about Jesus and never speak against our faith." What would you do? Peter had a choice: freedom or faith. For him, it wasn't a choice at all. He knew he could never promise to be silent about the truth and love of Jesus Christ. He politely refused their offer. He chose to stay a prisoner for the sake of his flock. Now, a beautiful story is told about his time in prison. Because his captors strangely respected his holiness, they allowed him to have what he needed to celebrate Mass each day. One morning, as he was preparing, a little boy, about 5 years old, appeared in his cell. The boy was dressed in the simple clothes of a slave and said, "Bishop, I will serve your mass for you." Peter was surprised and asked the little boy who he was. The boy replied, "I will tell you after mass is finished." After the mass, Peter was amazed by the wisdom of the child. He finally asked him, "Tell me, who is Jesus Christ?" The little boy looked at him and said, "I am Jesus Christ. I was crucified for your salvation. Look at my hands and my feet." And Peter could see the wounds of the crucifixion. The boy continued, "Because you have chosen to stay a prisoner to free my children, you have made me your prisoner." And then the little boy vanished, leaving Peter filled with a joy that no prison walls could contain. He knew Jesus was right there with him. This encounter gave him the final strength he needed. He had given up the money sent for his own ransom to free others instead. It truly lived out his Mercedarian vow. Soon after, on December 6th, in the year 1300, while Peter was quietly praying in his cell after Mass, an executioner entered. Peter had remained faithful to the very end. He died as a martyr, a true witness to the love of Jesus Christ. So what can we learn from this incredible hero, Saint Peter Paschal? He teaches us that true courage isn't about being the strongest or the loudest. It's about doing what is right and loving others, even when it's scary. It's about being a light in the darkest places. He shows us that our faith is a precious gift, worth protecting and sharing. Most importantly, he reminds us that Jesus is always with us, in our happiest moments and in our biggest challenges. Saint Peter Paschal, a bishop who gave his life for others, pray for us. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more stories of the saints. Take care, everyone. Stay safe and healthy as usual. See you next time, and may the Lord bless and keep you always.